Welcome to Poopcast. I'm Jimmy Davis.
I'm a guy that loves pooping.
And this is the Gaming Cat here.
Yeah, and we are... normally we would have fan art at the beginning as well, but we don't have any fan art. That's the one thing getting started is always a little bit awkward, so it's kind of nice to have fan art to talk about, but we don't this week. But, yeah, basically...
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. And the way we always start out these with our guests is we ask them, what's your YouTube poop story, basically? Like, how did you first discover YouTube poop, and what made you interested in starting your own? And you can just kind of talk about that in however much or little detail you want to, and we'll just kind of maybe interrupt here and there for more details or whatever.
Well, what basically introduced me to YouTube poop was several years ago. I think it was actually about a decade ago. Back when I still lived in Maryland, my friend Justin were hanging out one day, and he decided to show me these videos he found called YouTube poop, and they were interesting in the oddest but kind of humorous sort of way, and they kind of like grabbed my attention for a while, and eventually in 2012, when I saw that when I had grasped the idea of how to make YouTube poop better and how the sort of like thought process that went behind them was done, I decided, maybe I've got ideas. I'd like to explore these through YouTube poop as well. So I got Sony Vegas for Christmas, and then at the beginning of 2013, I settled right down to making YouTube poop.
Okay. Do you happen to remember what like some of the earliest YouTube poops were that you watched?
I definitely saw like the early days of the meme replacements dinner stuff. I'm not sure if I remember any names. Like I saw ones of the Super Mario World cartoon. I saw some SpongeBob ones. I think I saw one of Lucky Star and one of Teen Titans. Although the only YouTube pooper's name I could definitely remember back in those days was Loogie Alga.
Okay, that's the one who made the Robotnik's Pingus song, right? Or was that a different one?
Loogie Alga is the one I remember for like some of the most popular meme replacements, SpongeBob YouTube poops, like How About a Game of You Must Die, and
okay, yeah,
SpongeBob Learns How to Type or stuff like that.
Okay, yeah, I was thinking somebody different. Yeah, those were some of the earliest YouTube poops I saw as well.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm. And then...
Oh, wait, I definitely remember that another one of the earliest ones I saw was Toys Gone Wild, though that's pretty much a no-brainer, given how popular that one was back in the day.
Yeah, I actually hadn't seen that one until just like a year ago or something like that.
Really?
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I think I'd heard a lot of people say that it was like one of the most overrated YouTube poops ever or something like that, so I decided to check it out, and it's definitely dated.
It's definitely a product of its time, but I don't think it's that bad. I think there's like still some stuff that's kind of funny.
Yeah.
I'm honestly not sure if I've even seen it.
Really?
I might have watched it once, but that was probably a few years ago.
Huh. Yeah, it's it is a bit dated, but overall I think there's like really my biggest problem with it is there are a couple of jokes that I think went on for way too long, but other than that it's really not bad.
Yeah, I think I remember the Big Bill Hells one in particular. Like that was funny for the first few seconds, but then when it played the whole commercial, that's when it went on for way too long.
Yeah, that's something that I've noticed about watching older YouTube poops versus newer ones. Is it seems like they've gotten a lot more fast paced. Like they don't like if you watch older YouTube poops, sometimes like if they start playing a song or something like that, they'll go through the whole song. Whereas now it's just like a little clip here and there.
Yeah, I think people have started showing more restraint in that respect. Like they understand more that making a quick and funny joke is more important than just showing off one of your favorite songs.
Yeah. Plus, there's the whole copyright thing. The less you show, the more likely it is that you can get by without getting a copyright strike or whatever.
Yeah, that's also a factor in it.
So, what was the first YouTube poop that you've made? I like to ask that just in case. I don't know if it's the first one you have up on your channel or not, because I know a lot of people don't have their first YouTube poop ever uploaded to YouTube.
Oh, first YTP I've ever made?
Yeah.
I believe that the first YTP I ever made was called SpingeBill and Potrock Become Cloppers. I made that in like January 2013. Looking at it again, yeah, it is very much out of date, very poor compared to my stuff from later, but, you know, I know that a lot of other people usually like to delete some of the older stuff they made because they can't stand to look at it anymore, but I think it's like good I still have it because like it's a mark to me. It's a mark of how far I've come. It's a mark of, you know, where I started and how I've progressed since then. And there's also strangely people who do seem to still like it. So hey, if they're still having fun with it, then who am I to judge?
Yeah, no, I've mentioned stuff like that before. Like I don't. I mean, I understand why people like to get rid of their older YouTube poops, but I do think it's best to keep them up because I forget who it was I was talking to about that, but I said, you know, you can't really see how far you've progressed unless you keep your older work up. And, you know, like you said, some people do still like the older stuff. Like, I've had people ask me before if I would ever consider listing some of my older YouTube poops that I don't really like anymore as, you know, putting bad in the title or whatever. And I've said before that I don't really want to do that because I like to let people decide. I still get some people commenting on my like first ever YouTube poop saying it's one of the funniest things I've ever seen, even though I think it's very dated and not very good.
Yeah. Like, I'll do that sometimes with a couple of my older YouTube poops and my older countdowns, but I'll just put, like, old in parentheses rather than bad, because I think that better summarizes how I feel about it, you know? Like, people are free for themselves to decide whether it's bad or not, but it's definitely aged.
Yeah. Well, and I think, too, some people can kind of tell just from old that, you know, they shouldn't expect current quality standards. You know,
yeah, exactly. Like a video you made a few years ago is going to be very different from a video you made a couple months ago.
Yeah, and even then, I've seen some people's style almost changes video to video. So,
yeah. And there's some like older stuff of mine that I am still very proud of. Like, there's actually a YouTube poop I made back in 2014 that I'm planning to re-upload soon because like. It's probably my most copyright-struck video I've ever done, and literally the only way I can get people to see it again is if I re-upload it entirely.
Okay. Oh yeah, and that was the other thing I was interested to talk to you about is your copyright stuff, because if I'm not mistaken, haven't you actually lost control of your channel a couple different times and had to get it reinstated or something like that?
My channel has been terminated a grand total of 4 times by now, I believe.
Oh wow, I thought it was maybe 3 at the most.
Yeah, I don't like. I've heard of other people getting their channels terminated once or twice. But I'm not sure if I've heard others getting it terminated this much. It's a bit of an anomaly, I think.
Yeah, I think even some bigger YouTubers would just, you know, at that point just give up and make a completely different channel or something like that.
Well, I guess like I'm kind of stubborn, and you know I like seeing the numbers on my videos, like the amount of views and comments they have, and I kind of like that. I guess it's vain, but I like seeing all of it there, and I don't want to get rid of all of that.
Yeah. So
I feel like, you know, that'd be letting YouTube win in a way.
Yeah. So I'm assuming then that the copyright thing is thanks to Viacom. Is that correct?
For the most part, yes. When I first started out, a lot of it was actually due to the record company WMI because they own the rights to Pink Floyd's music, and I used a lot of Pink Floyd in my videos. But after Squishward starts a neo-fascist dictatorship, they just disappeared, and from that point on, it was pretty much only Viacom that got on my back.
Okay. So what was your what was it like then getting your channel terminated for the first time? Like, how did you deal with that the first time? How did you even? Because when I've had videos that have been a couple videos that have been taken down. You know, I got your help to get my SpingeBill YouTube poop back up, and when that happened to me, like I had no idea where to even go to get information. So how did you figure that out then when that first happened to you?
I did figure it out, but it took a while. Something I should mention is that the first time my channel was terminated, it came at a really bad time because at the time I was already emotionally and mentally exhausted from working all of the summer on a independent short documentary I had to make for my high school senior seminar project. And then seeing that like my channel got terminated was already bad. But the way that YouTube talked about how you can get your videos back up was incredibly confusing. Because it said that you had to send an email to like the copyright team. Like I had to go through like a few junk suggestions as well. Like, oh, send a suggestion into this box, but it turned out to be a dead end. And eventually I found out you had to send an email to the copyright team about it. But what you needed to do was you needed to get the URLs of the videos that were unfairly copyright struck. And since my channel was down, I could not do that. I could not access those videos. And that confusion on top of everything else actually, like, sent me into a legitimate depression for a bit, just because, like, I felt so helpless. But thankfully, what helped bring me out of it was figuring out that what I could do was I had to dig around my older emails and see the original video takedown notices, because those had the URLs. And I managed to find those and send those to the copyright team. And even though it did take a while after that, thankfully they were cleared and my channel did eventually go back up. So I guess it all boiled down to, like, you know, a series of events of a lot of frustration, sweat, and tears. But I managed to emerge a more knowing person.
Okay, and so then you did that all on your own then? You didn't have any help from anybody else? Just figured that out all on your own then?
Yeah, pretty much. Like I did look up what to do on Google, but I'm not sure if anyone else really was dealing with the same kind of confusing multi-dead end situation that I was. So it required a lot of trial and error.
Okay, and when was that exactly? Was that a while ago, or is that more recent?
That was back in 2014, right before I was going to upload the video that I'm actually trying to re-upload now.
Okay.
And it was one of the most frustrating things was the fact that, like, I had this spicy new YTP fresh out of the oven, ready to upload, but at the moment I was ready to upload it, my channel was terminated.
Yeah. And then, when because you said that's happened to you 4 different times now with your channel being terminated. When was the most recent time that happened?
The most recent time, that is a bit of a good question. I can't remember. Like, it was either at the beginning of this year or near the, like, somewhere around October of last year. I can't remember because it was such, like, my channel was terminated for such a short time period that it barely stands out on my mental radar, just because, like, I'd gotten so good at figuring out how to fix things.
Okay.
I know I actually uploaded a video around that time that happened. I can actually go look when I uploaded that.
Actually, I remember that right after right after I asked that, because I was looking for it too.
Yeah, that was a year ago. It looks like, according to the upload date.
Ah, I see.
Didn't you get your channel back on Halloween?
I don't remember. Like, I know the first time it was terminated, I got my channel back at the beginning of October, but if there was a time wherein, like, if the fourth time I got it back on Halloween, I don't remember.
So for you, channel termination is basically for, like, a regular YouTube pooper getting one of their videos blocked. It's just more or less an inconvenience.
Yeah, most of the time, you know, a copyright strike just affects a single video, but I think that, like, if 3 videos of yours in a single time frame get affected, then your whole channel goes down.
Yeah.
I've gotten pretty lucky. I've only ever had that happen a couple of times. Mostly with Fox, actually. Viacom tends to leave me alone.
Oh. Huh.
Yeah,
I have heard that, like, Fox tends to be a lot more anal retentive with their stuff than Viacom is, which is really saying something considering Viacom.
Yeah. Yeah, I was actually going to ask that. Have you ever? I know you deal with Viacom stuff. Have you ever done anything with Fox-related material? Had any trouble with Fox?
I haven't. And to be fair, like, I haven't used a lot of Fox's stuff before, but I have used a few clips from The Simpsons in the past. But even then, I haven't had to deal with any disturbances by Fox.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause that's right now. I only have one video that's blocked worldwide, and that's King of the Hill YouTube poop, which I eventually re-uploaded. So I was just wondering that, 'cause I know I don't know if dealing with Fox would be the same as dealing with Viacom, because it would be nice. I still have the original upload that's blocked, and it would be kind of nice to get that made public again. But I don't know if I want to mess with that, because I don't know if I would want to risk getting the video completely removed and getting a strike on my channel.
Yeah, it might be interesting, like, to get into some hot water with Fox just to see, like, if they handle things differently than Viacom does.
Yeah.
'Cause that would be new territory for me.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know I had somebody ask me recently on Twitter, how to deal with getting a video brought back from Fox taking it down. I said I don't know. I've never dealt with that with Fox before. So, but for whatever reason, the re-upload, all I did was flip the image and then cropped it slightly and added a border around it, and that's been up now for like 8 months or something like that without anything happening to it.
Yeah, that seems to be a reliable solution for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm. And then, so you said your first channel termination was in 2014. Did that happen just like all at once, or were you kind of slowly building up with videos being removed or something like that? Because what was the...
It happened all at once. Like, there have been a couple times in the past months where 2 videos of mine have been copyright struck, but when the third channel video takedown happened during that time, suddenly everything went down.
Okay. Yeah, 'cause that's always been a concern for me, is to just wake up one day and find that I got like 3 videos just randomly taken down and then my channel terminated all at once or something like that. I think it'd be a lot easier to deal with if it was slowly one at a time.
Yeah, like most of the time, the way it works is it's a series of like 1 or 2 videos being copyright struck over the course of a few weeks, and that's when you really got to start cracking down and taking care of those copyright claims, because when that third one hits, you will be in a bit of a bad spot.
Yeah, I think I know I've had I've had my YouTube poop channel now for, I just passed the 3-year mark. It was late October 2014 when I set up my channel, but I've had another channel since 2008, and during that entire time I've been on YouTube, I've had 2 copyright strikes before, and I don't know how I've managed to get away with just 2, but I know whenever it happens, I just don't really know what to do. I just usually try to be careful for the next however long it takes for the copyright strike to wear off, or the effects of the copyright strike to wear off.
Yeah, I think if you're in a position where like you can last that long with that few copyright strikes, you're in a pretty good position.
Yeah, and then I know the last copyright strike I had was from a Kids React YouTube poop that I uploaded, and that was before the whole React World controversy. I don't know if you knew a whole lot about that when it was going on.
Trust me, I know all about that can of worms.
Yeah, but I know once that the whole React World controversy went on, I woke up one day and had an email from YouTube saying that Kids React YouTube poop was reinstated. So I guess they were trying to get back on everybody's good side during that time.
YouTube is a fickle beast.
Right. And I know a lot of people...
Like even after all this time, we can't exactly figure out how it works.
Yeah. And I know a lot of people, obviously criticize YouTube for that, but at the same time, I don't know for sure how much you can really blame YouTube, because they've had issues in the past with copyright stuff. Wasn't it Viacom sued them or something like that, or tried to sue them?
I don't exactly remember. I think it was definitely, if it wasn't Viacom, it was a similar corporation, but the aftermath was like YouTube instating the copyright thing, which thankfully did hold them off and prevent them from getting shut down entirely.
Yeah. So
I was just going to say, I'm pretty sure that was Viacom, but I'm not sure.
Yeah. I mean, I know that was quite a while ago, but I know on I know with YouTube's copyright, the way that they crack down on copyright, it seems like they've actually kind of made things a little bit easier over the years. Because like I said, I've been on YouTube now for 9 years, and I remember the first time I got my first copyright strike, and it was either 2009 or 2010. I remember at that time that the effects of the copyright strike, not being able to upload more than 10 minutes of video and stuff like that. I know originally that used to last for a full year. I think now it's only like 3 months or something like that.
Yeah, I remember that sort of stuff as well. But thankfully, I don't think I had to deal with the upload limits thing for very long.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually remember back when it was, I think you had to be a YouTube partner to be able to have any longer than 10-minute uploads, as well as custom thumbnails.
Oh, yeah, I
Wow.
forgot about that.
Yeah, there's
Man.
because I think I've mentioned this before, that I think, I really don't think YouTube has gotten quite as bad as some people tend to say it has. I think it's always had a lot of issues. It's different types of issues that it's had over the years.
Yeah, it's like very temperamental and varied in how it finds ways to screw up, though it does still screw up.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I definitely wouldn't argue that it's perfect or that it doesn't have issues or anything like that. It's just I know some people seem to treat it like it used to be a flawless website, 10 years ago, whatever, and now it's just barely holding on, and I don't think that's the case.
Yeah, like, just because, I get that, like, things like videos randomly being demonetized is bad. It's happened to me before as well, but just because that sort of thing's going on, there were still different kinds of problems we had to deal with back then, too. So, like, this isn't a completely new evil. This is just something that's kind of par for the course. This is just something that, once again, we've got to learn how to deal with.
Yeah, and I know I was thinking about just a few weeks ago or whatever, just kind of thinking about what it was like using YouTube, nearly a decade ago, and I don't know if you were really using YouTube much back then, but do you remember they used to do this thing where, I think it was just completely random, just random points of random days, whatever, YouTube was inaccessible for like an hour because they were doing maintenance? Do you remember that?
I'm not sure if I do remember that. Maybe I just got really lucky and didn't run into one of those days.
Okay, yeah, because I used to, I mean, I guess I still do use YouTube all the time, and I remember that would happen. It seemed like I think they did it at least once a week, where it was just, you would try to click something and it would, show an error and say that YouTube is down for maintenance, and I'm pretty sure it would be like an hour at a time.
Maybe I'm just not remembering correctly.
Yeah, I know they referenced it in a, they did, what do they call it now? It's like YouTube Live. I think they've tried a few different live events with YouTube, but this was like their first attempt at a YouTube Live where they had like Fred and Charlie the Unicorn and that sort of thing. And I remember they made like a Charlie the Unicorn video specifically for the YouTube Live thing, and they made a joke about the YouTube being down for maintenance. That might be the only reason why I remember it.
Could be.
Let me see here. I know with these podcasts, there always seems to be parts where I just kind of, for a second, can't think of anything to talk about, and they're kind of a bit inconsistent.
Yeah, that's perfectly understandable.
Yeah, and like I said, I do kind of like to treat these more as a conversation than a straight-up interview.
Definitely. Like Howard Stern takes the same sort of approach with his interviews.
Yeah. When I first started this, I wanted to make it like a. I don't know if you're super familiar with the YouTubers Rhett and Link, but I know they still have a podcast.
Sorry, who was it you named?
Rhett and Link. Their current YouTube channel is Good Mythical Morning. I'm sure you've probably.
Oh yeah, I know about them.
Yeah, they have a podcast that they started a few years ago, and the first like 50 or 60 episodes, something like that, it was just interviewing other YouTubers, and they've kind of changed it now that they brought it back. But when I first started Poopcast, I wanted it to be like their podcast, but for YouTube poopers, and now I would say I want it to be more like the H3H3 podcast for YouTube poopers.
Yeah, I think I got what you mean with that.
do you have anything to add, Logan? You haven't really said much.
That's because like half of your audio has been cutting out for me, so I've missed almost half of what you said.
Oh, it has?
Whoops.
Yeah, like all I heard the only reason I heard what you said there was because I heard you through the wall.
Oh, that's weird. Because you were both coming in just fine for me.
I mean, it's just you that's not coming in right for me.
I wonder, maybe it's something with your computer. I don't know. I know we had one episode actually that was just a complete disaster for whatever reason. On my end, I think it was the only part that was screwing up because I couldn't hear Logan or the guest we had on, so we had to actually have everybody record our own separate dialogue, and that one was a mess.
Yeah, it sounds like that must have been quite the hassle.
Yeah.
Wasn't there one point where me and him like went on a conversation for like 20 minutes and you said nothing?
Yeah, because well, not only was the audio cutting out on my end, but I recorded it when I was really, really tired. Like I didn't get any sleep at all beforehand, and it was going on for like 3 hours, and so I just was kind of trying my best to end it because I was just sick of recording it. But that's only happened one time, and like I said, I think that's mainly just because I was so tired that I just didn't have any patience.
Yeah. One of my worst fears has always been like the idea that when I put something on YouTube, something in the rendering and processing will go wrong, and then when I see it, there will be no working video or malfunctioning audio, and there will be nothing I can do about it because it's already up.
Yeah,
and I can take it down something, but everyone's already seen it.
Yeah, I know. When I first, I don't have this fear so much anymore, but I remember when I first started, I always had this fear that I would accidentally upload the wrong video file or something like that. And I know when I, kind of like what you were saying with rendering errors and stuff like that, I know I tend to have that fear every time I upload like a longer video, one that I don't feel like rewatching before I upload, because I usually rewatch videos after they're done rendering. But like I just recently did a commentary video for like my third year of YouTube Poop, and that's like 2.5 hours long, and I watched it all while I was editing it and didn't feel like rewatching it after it was done rendering, and so there was kind of that concern that something was going to go wrong.
Yeah, it's something that's very easy to feel worried about because it's something that you do so quickly it's practically subconscious, but if you miss anything, then you're toast.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, it's not even really like a justifiable fear, at least for me, because I've never had that happen before. It's just, I always think it could happen.
Yeah, it's like the ever-present danger that you don't want to pay attention to.
Yeah, and I'm sure that the second I let my guard down, it's going to happen, or something like that's going to happen.
Usually what I'll do is I'll title the video, like I'll title it what it's going to be titled on YouTube so I don't make that mistake. And if I have to re-render it, I'll have that second rendered called real thing in parentheses right at the beginning so I know which one to upload.
Okay.
Just because it just makes it easier. I don't know, I've never had that fear of uploading the wrong file, maybe just because it's never happened. Now that I say that, maybe it will happen.
I need to try to...
Yeah.
How do you...
I feel envious of anyone who doesn't have that fear every time they upload something new.
Yeah. How do you mute notifications on Discord? Because usually when we record these, we do these on Skype, and I just don't have Discord open, but we're recording on Discord, and I'm getting a bunch of messages on Discord, and I'm sure that's going to drive the listeners
I'm getting a bunch
crazy.
of those as well.
Yeah, and I've never had to mute the notifications on Discord, so I'm sure it's really easy, but I just don't know how to do it.
All you need to do is you click your status and you set it to Do Not Disturb.
Okay. All right. Yeah, that should be better, because that's been... I think I'm in a couple different servers, and I think there's one that's just a bunch of people talking back and forth. So
Yeah, I've got the same sort of situation as well.
You can go and change that so it'll only make the noise when you're mentioned.
But
That's what I have set for every server I'm in.
You've told me that like 5 times, and every time I tell you I don't want to do that because I like to read all of the messages.
I mean, to be honest, I haven't really been looking at Discord like at all for like the last month. So it's just kind of just been another thing that's been open on my computer.
Okay.
Well, honestly, I'm a bit like that as well. My most active friends have been on Skype, so Discord is something I open out of obligation in case like any of the friends I've got on here message me or something, which does happen, thankfully, but still.
Yeah. Yeah, and I know for whatever reason I stopped getting notifications for Discord on my phone, which I had that before, so I could have technically gone without using Discord and just looked at my phone, whatever, but now, for whatever reason, they stopped notifying me for Discord and for YouTube on my phone. I don't know what that's all about.
I gotcha.
I think with YouTube, it's I know you can go to settings on YouTube on mobile and change the settings around and make it so you'll get notified or won't get notified or whatever, and I have all the settings turned on, so I should be getting notified, but I'm not. Which that's one of the changes, or one of the things that's been going on with YouTube that I do think is probably the biggest issue with me is just the way that they changed the notification system. It's been about a year now or whatever since they did that, but it's made it harder and harder to keep up with comments and replies and all that stuff.
Yeah. I liked it better when it just had notifications for the comments on an entire video that you receive that were new, but now it's like every individual comment is a new notification, which makes it a lot messier to sort through.
Yeah. Yeah, now I noticed they started up, again, just like maybe a week ago, they started notifying me now when somebody likes a comment I made. And I guess wouldn't be a huge deal if I didn't get new likes on my comment. I comment all over the place, so I get new likes on comments like every hour or so.
I've never gotten notified about when someone likes my comment.
It seems like the YouTube notifications work differently for every person. I don't know why that is.
I get notifications when someone I'm subscribed to uploads and when I get a comment or reply.
There's only like 3 or 4 people I'm subscribed to who I'm notified for when they upload. And the thing is, I've never clicked the bell notification icon or whatever, so I don't know why those specific YouTubers I get notified for, and why I don't get notified for other YouTubers. But
well, I mean that's why I get notifications now, because it's like I didn't deal with this problem for a while, but it just started happening to me like a couple months ago, where not every video from someone that I'm subscribed to shows up in my subscription feed, and so I'm just gonna start using the notification bell then. I still open up the subscriptions, and most of the videos show up, but occasionally there will be like that one video that they just decide to not show me.
I think I've only had that happen once or twice.
I think it happened to me a few different times, and that's why I decided to do it. And the thing is, it's like it was nothing like offensive or anything. It was a video about Sonic in my subscription feed, and that just didn't show up.
Sonic is offensive.
What?
Sonic is offensive, though.
Why?
I don't know, because it's Sonic.
Just because.
Yes, it's not offensive. It's controversial. That's what I meant to say.
It's controversial. Is that what you said?
Yes, it's definitely controversial.
Well, I mean, you're not wrong.
I just saw a tweet a little while ago. Somebody tweeted out. They said they just mentioned Sonic. It was like they showed a comment they made where they just said Sonic Forces, and they were showing all the replies they got of people being really upset about that. And that's just kind of how
the thing is, I can confirm as a Sonic fan that if you have an opinion, no matter what it is on Sonic, it's going to make somebody mad.
Yeah, that's what I've heard.
Like, I'm sure someone would be mad that I like Sonic.
The funny
just because.
The funny thing is, there's a lot of other fan bases out there that have been like that. Like My Little Pony, Five Nights at Freddy's, stuff like that. Undertale as well. Where any opinion at all is a controversial opinion, but usually those fade out within like a year or two. And with Sonic, it seems like that's always been the case and always will be the case.
Yeah, like speaking as someone who is in the Undertale fandom, I've noticed that it has done like a lot of mellowing out after April 2016. Like after that period of time, it seemed to get calmer, I guess, and there was a lot less drama and infighting. But the Sonic fandom, for the longest time, like there's still stuff you hear about people going crazy and just all sorts of fighting and drama going on.
Yeah.
Like, just recently, a friend of mine told me about this guy who thought that he was married to Amy Rose and had 3 kids with her.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that,
what?
You know,
I can't, I'm not making this up. This was a thing that I heard about.
you know, the sad thing is
Oh my goodness.
that honestly doesn't really surprise me with how weird the fan base can be. I mean, you know, any fan base can be weird, really, but with Sonic, it's almost like that's just the norm.
I was just gonna say, even for the Sonic fan base, that's weird.
I know. Oh my god. There's like a Sonic Confessions blog or something where people just like talk about the creepiest, worst stuff ever.
Yeah, and also, it seems like Sonic tends to get the widest variety of fan art as well, of like fetish fan art type stuff.
See, the thing
That
is,
is true.
See, the thing is, I think if it was just the Rule 34, it wouldn't be so weird. But it's just the fact that it's just like just everything else in the fan base. It's like if it was just the Rule 34, it's like everything gets Rule 34 pretty much if it's popular.
Well, that's
But
what
it's
Rule
like,
34
it's
is.
just everything else in the fan base that makes it weird.
Yeah.
Pretty much. I kind of do love like how no matter what your weird, obscene fetish is, no matter what kind it is, it's probably there in the Sonic fandom somewhere.
It's probably
It's
there.
like
It's probably
the paradise of fetishes.
yeah. It's probably there mixed with another fetish as well. That's the thing about it.
Yeah, most likely.
Isn't it kind of the same thing with the Undertale fan base? I kind of just played the game and then just ignored the fan base because I saw how bad it was.
If it is, it's
I've
definitely nowhere near as bad as Sonic. Cause I've never seen that kind of
Yeah.
stuff.
Yeah.
Like I have seen a lot of the adult content that people have put on there. It's definitely not as horrifying as like the stuff in the Sonic fandom. Like, you know, there is some of it there, but it's not nearly as numerous or even as bad, honestly.
Yeah, and then also the thing with the Sonic fan base too is I think there's a lot of stuff, fetish type stuff that exists. It's done completely ironically. You know, like the you ever heard of the Sonic Dreams Collection fan game?
Oh, I have. I've seen playthroughs of that.
Yeah, yeah, and then there's also like I think there's actually 3 different games in the series. It's like Sonic Inflation Adventures or whatever. It's something like that. I've seen playthrough of that, and it's pretty clearly done as a parody. But it's pretty funny.
There was actually like a reading that me and a couple friends of mine did of a bizarre Sonic inflation fic, and it felt like being on drugs, honestly. It felt, because it didn't feel like something that came from this world.
Yeah.
I don't even understand the appeal of the Inflation King. How do people get off to them?
I don't know. I guess that's just what a fetish is. Just it doesn't really make sense unless you have it.
I guess so.
The weirdest part is though, it's like why is Sonic so popular with all this stuff? Why Sonic?
Yeah,
why not anything else?
You'd think
why Sonic?
You'd think the inflation fetish. You'd think they would go more for Kirby or something like that.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, there was actually a YouTuber who did say this. I'm surprised Kirby hasn't gotten so much Rule 34 because literally all he does is suck. There's so much you can do with that.
All he does is suck and
Kirby
inflate.
is pure. Kirby's like a pure little pink puffball. A lot of people don't want to corrupt that.
Well, Sonic was pure until the fan base got a hold of him.
Yeah.
I mean, like, Sonic was a bit of like a snarky, flippant asshole.
Yeah, I guess
He's not nearly as pure or likable as Kirby.
Yeah.
I guess. Yeah.
I guess Kirby is basically like he's basically a marshmallow, just like an anthropomorphic marshmallow.
Someone probably has a marshmallow fetish.
I hope not.
Hey, if you can think it, it's probably a fetish that exists.
That's a good point.
All right, so we've been going now for about a little over 40 minutes. You guys want to start going over to the comments? Because usually, first few episodes, or the questions, I mean, usually the first few episodes that with the first few episodes anyway, we started to kind of wrap things up with the questions, but then that ended up being like half the episode, so there's still plenty of stuff to talk about, but you want to just get started on those then?
Yeah, sounds good.
All right. So with the previous episode, we actually we decided to start mentioning the next guest we're going to have on, so that you can ask questions on the YouTube video. We'll mention the next guest before this episode's over. But so we have 4 questions on YouTube. The last episode didn't get many views because it wasn't very good, but now you know what you're missing out on. Okay. So the first one is from Raven the Commentator 2001, who asks, "What's your favorite/least favorite music genre?" And the way the questions work is, even if they're very specifically aimed at the guest, we still all three try to answer. So you can go first, though, since you're the guest on this episode.
All right. Well, I'm tempted to say that my favorite music genre is rock, but that's a bit of a broad stroke to paint. So, I guess it would be a tie between heavy metal and prog rock, because that's what I listen to the most, and that's what I tend to enjoy the most in just any sort of situation. And there are bands where the two blend with each other, particularly in Rush, but those are the ones that I think I like best. And as for least favorite music genre, I'm not sure if pop is a genre. People treat it like it is. I'm not sure if it really is a genre, but I guess I can.
I think it's.
Yeah,
I guess. Oh, I'm sorry. I think there might be.
I gotcha.
A delay. I was going to say I think that pop is kind of like rock, where it's kind of broad. So yeah, I'd say it is a genre.
Yeah.
It just doesn't. It's not a super narrowed down genre.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess that the most of pop that I have heard is just stuff I can't stand, and for that reason I'm glad that I'm not forced to listen to the radio on a middle school bus anymore, because that was not good for me.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for me, for favorite genre, I think I mentioned this before in the past. I'm not really huge into music. I didn't really start listening to more popular music until just recently. Usually I would listen to Weird Al and that kind of weird type of music, or the type of music that kind of is really popular for a year, or just a short period of time, then everybody forgets it. I don't know, just kind of weird music stuff. But if I had to pick a favorite genre, I think I mentioned before that I think I'd probably go with ska, because I just kind of like the way that sounds. Least favorite music genre, I think I mentioned before, I don't really like country music. And also, I guess I think I mentioned this before as well, I also don't really like heavy metal music.
Really?
Yeah.
I don't really have a least or a favorite genre that I can think of, but I can definitely tell you my least favorite is country, because I just can't stand country.
Okay.
Well, I certainly can't blame you.
Yeah, and I think it really is, well, with country, there's a bunch of different subgenres with country. I'm sure there's some specific type of country music that I would enjoy listening to. It's just the sort of stereotypical type of country song is not the type of thing I would like to listen to.
Yeah, nor I. I'm remembering, playing Fallout New Vegas actually did, turn me on to the idea of country music a bit more, but I'm not sure if the selection it has is a good overall representation of what the genre is or not.
Yeah. All right, and then also from Raven the Commentator 2001, are there any movies coming out in 2018, live action or animated, that you are interested in?
Let me think to that. If either of you want to answer first, go right ahead.
Okay, I can't think of too many off the top of my head, other than kind of the I'm sure there's probably another couple Marvel movies coming out, which I don't know how you guys feel about this, but personally I'm kind of losing interest in the Marvel movies. I think they're kind of all starting to blend together for me.
I The funny thing is, it's like it wasn't until I think was it this year that I finally got around to watching those movies.
It was either this year or the end of last year.
Yeah, it was one of the two. So I'm not sick of it yet because I just recently got into it. So thing about the movies for coming out in 2018. It's like I don't know what's coming out in 2018.
Actually,
honestly.
no. Let me just Google anticipated movies for 2018 or something like that. See what.
I actually did just Google it, and I'm getting a good idea of what to expect. I'm definitely excited for The Incredibles 2. A lot of people are excited for Incredibles 2, I think.
Oh, that's coming out next year.
Yeah, it looks like it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know. I'm actually looking forward to that because I know when the original Incredibles came out, I didn't really I didn't really understand subtle satire that much at that time. So I remember that I actually didn't like that movie, and I think if I watched it now, I'd probably like it a lot more as a kid. But I think the sequel, I'm sure I'll enjoy a lot more because it's completely fresh, and I've already seen the original.
I've come to find out there are a lot of animated movies that I actually like better as an adult because, like, as a kid, my attention span wasn't that great with that sort of stuff, and I missed a lot of the smaller details with them. But as an adult, I'm now more patient, and I'm able to like pick up more of the cool nuances and subtleties in them, and that makes me appreciate them a whole lot more.
Yeah.
I'm also definitely looking forward to Deadpool 2. That's going to be great.
I still need to see the first one actually.
It's good, trust me. You should do it as soon as you can.
Yeah, I've watched it. I watched it once. I kind of want to rewatch it now that I know a little bit more of what to expect. But yeah, if it's anything like the first one, it'll definitely be good.
Oh hell yeah!
One that I'm sort of looking forward to, but at the same time pretty nervous about is Wreck-It Ralph 2, because I know this one is more.
Oh wait, Wreck-It Ralph 2 is next year?
That's what's showing up on when I Google search it. So unless Google's wrong, it might be. But
I thought it was 2019.
It might be, and let me look at the Wikipedia, see what it says on there. But I know.
By the way, I definitely know that I'm going to be looking forward to it.
Yeah. Wikipedia says November 2018. So.
All right.
But I know with that one. With that one, it's focusing more on like internet stuff than video game stuff. So that's why I'm kind of cautious about it. But I still think, I mean, it's Disney, so I think at the very least it's going to be acceptable.
I love the first Wreck-It Ralph, so hopefully this one will be good too.
Yeah.
Oh, Ready Player One. That's another one I'm really, really excited for. I read the original book a few years ago. I loved the heck out of it, and the trailer was honestly like so exciting to see. It was so cool.
Yeah, I actually...
One of the reasons was definitely because they used Tom Sawyer by rushing the trailer, but even beyond that, it was a really, really excellent trailer.
Yeah, I don't really know a whole lot about the book or anything like that, but I know a lot of people really like that, and so I think I'm going to try my best to go in just not knowing a whole lot. I know it has something to do with like video game type stuff and a lot of pop culture type of things, but...
It's pretty much like one of the best love letters to nerd culture I've seen, personally.
Yeah, that's what I tend to hear people say about it. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to that. I just, like I said, never read the book or anything like that, so I don't know if I would be more excited if I knew the story, but I do kind of like the idea of going in more or less blind to what it is.
Yeah, that's a good approach to take with a lot of stuff. I'm currently not sure how I feel about the Han Solo Star Wars movie that's going to be coming up, because, I'm just, I mean, it can definitely be good. I'm just not sure, how I feel about it, because, I'm not sure how much they can expand on him or what they can reveal that we didn't already know, and, I heard about the casting for who they're going to be playing as Han Solo, and I'm not impressed.
I'm actually looking at that poster right now, and I'm like, that doesn't look like Han Solo to me.
Yeah, it's the guy they got to play him was like the dumb cowboy from Hail Caesar by the Coen brothers.
Yeah, I know I've mentioned before in the past, that I'm really more of just like a casual Star Wars fan. I think they're good movies, but I wouldn't rank them as like my favorite movies or anything like that. But I am definitely kind of cautiously optimistic about the future of the Star Wars series now that Disney has it and they're doing all these movies right now. I think they just announced like yesterday or something like that the director of Star Wars Episode 8 is going to be like getting his own spin-off trilogy he's going to be doing a spin-off trilogy of Star Wars movies. So I think it's possible that they're maybe biting off more than they can chew, and it's just going to end up crumbling apart, or maybe it'll be really good. Maybe this is going to be the next big thing. I don't know for sure.
We can only time will tell, because I wasn't expecting much out of Rogue One, but I liked it so much it actually ended up becoming my favorite Star Wars movie.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like that one as well, but like I said, I'm more of a casual Star Wars fan, and I know that's one of the criticisms some people had about it was just kind of taking all the cool stuff from Star Wars and putting it into a movie rather than focusing on making like a good original story. But yeah, like I said,
well, I think that with the thing about Force Awakens was that they realized that if they wanted to prove to people that they were capable of making a good Star Wars movie again, then they'd have to play it a bit safe and recycle some elements. And I think the more important factor is the fact that they used those elements in a way that was entertaining, even if it wasn't original.
Right. But I know one of my problems with that one is, I won't, in case nobody's seen it, I won't spoil it, but I will say that the one thing that everybody has spoiled or has been who tried to avoid as a spoiler, I somehow managed to get by without figuring that out, without having it spoiled for me. But because it was so similar to some elements were so similar to like the first Star Wars movie, I could tell what was going to happen with that plot.
Yeah, I think
element.
A couple other people were able to predict it as well.
Yeah, it was pretty similar to something that happened in the original. But otherwise, I think that movie was definitely a good movie. Definitely better than the prequels. Step in the right direction, even if it was pretty rehashed. I think as long as Episode 8 isn't like a rehash of Empire Strikes Back, then I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
Especially since if they tried to pretty much just recreate Empire Strikes Back, so that's like everybody's favorite Star Wars movie. People would be mad that it's not as good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People would just be like, it's Empire Strikes Back, but not as good.
Yeah.
That's probably what people would say.
Oh, I guess the CG animated Grinch movie is coming out next year too.
The what movie?
That's
Grinch.
true.
How the Grinch Stole Christmas. It's
I didn't know that was happening.
Yeah, I think it's made by.
Apparently, it is.
I think it's made by Illumination or whatever the company was that made Minions and the Lorax.
Oh yeah, you're right. Illumination.
Yeah.
Oh, no.
I mean,
they made one good movie.
I mean,
that was it.
Benedict Cumberbatch is playing the Grinch, so I guess that's at least. I think.
I don't like Benedict Cumberbatch. I'm just gonna come out and say it.
I guess I can see that. I wouldn't say that he's amazing or anything like that, but I think he's definitely really good as Sherlock Holmes, and so I think that's at least a decent casting choice. I don't know for sure if I'd say that's exactly what I think about.
As an actor, I think he's fine, but as a person, I think he can rot in hell.
I don't know much about him as a person, so maybe that's why I don't hate him.
I don't know anything about him, so.
Let me see.
Well, out of courtesy of not getting too angry here, I won't go into much detail about him now.
Okay. Oh yeah, I forgot they were doing some sort of a Mary Poppins sequel or something like that. I heard about that. I didn't.
They are?
Yeah, I'm looking at it right now, trying to see what it is. It's called what's it called? Mary Poppins Returns. I know I heard something about that, but I didn't realize that was coming out so soon.
That's strange.
Yeah.
Huh.
Yeah, I'm trying to figure out. I don't know for sure if it's a Disney movie or if it's. I would assume it is. I don't think Mary Poppins is public domain or anything like that. Yeah.
I also found out just yesterday that they're making a sequel to Romeo and Juliet. Old Sherlock gnome.
Yeah, I was.
It
I
looks
just thought about
terrible.
that today.
I was looking through every once in a while. I look through the trending tab on Twitter, and I saw the trailer for that, and I mean it's the most recent new movie I've seen was the Emoji Movie, and compared to that, it at least looks it looks way better than the Emoji Movie, but that's not saying much.
I mean, yeah, that's a low bar.
Yeah, because I think I mentioned like the last episode of Poopcast, we didn't have a guest. We were just kind of talking about whatever, and we started with the Emoji Movie. And I think I mentioned there that the Emoji Movie is hands down the worst animated movie I've ever seen that wasn't like a really cheap Disney knockoff or something like that. I don't know if you've seen it, but if you haven't, just don't.
Yeah, like, if I ever do see the Emoji Movie, like, to just maybe rip to shreds with some friends, then I'm gonna pirate it full on. Like, I'm not ashamed to admit it, I don't want to give that thing money.
Yeah, well, I mean, the thing is, though,
it's
not even worth watching with friends and whatever, because it's just so bland and predictable that there's nothing even so bad that it's good about it.
I think we talked over like half the movie.
Yeah, but even then it wasn't really, we weren't really riffing off the movie, we were just talking about just anything other than the movie.
Yeah,
Well,
I
who
mean,
knows?
we did talk about the movie, but I think we probably just talked about other things just to pass the time.
Yeah.
Wasn't there a point where like there's probably like 20 minutes left, and then we looked at how much time we were in, and we were only like a half hour in the movie?
Yeah, it seemed to move by really, really slowly. But anyway, back on topic of movies coming out. This is another movie that I'm just recently heard about that looks interesting. It's called Isle of Dogs. It's like a stop motion movie. I think it's an adaptation from a book or something like that. But it's being made by Wes Anderson, who did the Fantastic Mr. Fox. I don't know if you've heard about that.
I've heard of Fantastic Mr. Fox, but this Isle of Dogs thing, this is new to me.
Yeah, I think I've only really heard about it because I think the trailer was trending on Twitter for like the first hour after it was released or something like that. But it looks like it'll be at least worth a watch.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I think that pretty much covers everything for movies that are coming out. I mean, I've been kind of scrolling through IMDb and just seeing what there is.
Oh yeah, there was one I heard about recently that I'm actually pretty excited for. It's called Alita: Battle Angel. It's an upcoming film by Robert Rodriguez. It's going to be like a science fiction action film about a female cyborg. And if it's directed by Robert Rodriguez, that's a really good sign.
Okay, I'm definitely familiar with that name, but I can't think of anything he's done off the top of my head. What are some of the movies he's done before? Because I know the name sounds really familiar.
Robert Rodriguez?
Yeah.
Robert Rodriguez made films like From Dusk Till Dawn, Sin City, Machete, and on a less positive aspect, hit the Spy Kids films.
Okay, yeah.
Shark Boy and Lava Girl.
Yeah. Well, the thing about the Spy Kids movies is I haven't watched them in years, but I still think from what I remember, the first two were at least decent kids movies, but like the third one was just garbage, and I would never waste my time with the fourth one.
I think the third one is the only one I can remember anything from. It's probably just because it was so bad.
Yeah.
Like, I don't remember anything from the first two movies, aside from I think I watched them.
But yeah, I know, I think the cool thing about him is that he has a very, very unique visual style with his movies.
Yeah, Robert Rodriguez is like quite the unique visionary. It's honestly no wonder he's such tight friends with Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah. All right, I guess we'll move on to the next question then.
All right.
This is from the DM Hoffland, who asks, "What do you think of Behind the Meme, since it's gotten a lot of attention lately? Are you familiar with that channel?"
I know a bit about it. Like, it's a channel that explains memes, right?
More or less. It's like the biggest criticism people have for it is it's basically just like a watered down version of a Know Your Meme article.
Yeah, like, behind the meme, like, that, we already have Know Your Meme, which already explains things well, and behind the meme, I don't think I have any real use for. I don't think it really needs to exist, so I just personally don't pay it any mind.
Yeah, I know some people really hate it, and I just don't think there's anything worth hating about it. It's just kind of like what you said. It's just completely useless, so why even bother paying it any attention?
No, you're behind the meme.
What?
No, behind the meme.
Yeah.
I don't think he makes good videos, but I mean, I see where the criticism is coming from because I don't think the videos are very good and clearly not very well researched, or like lazily researched. Like
I guess as long as the guy himself isn't a total douchebag, like someone like Onision or Jake Paul, then it's no skin off my back.
Yeah. He seems totally harmless. He just kind of. I think the biggest issue people have with him is it almost just kind of seems like he's just riding off the popularity of the memes and just trying to make a quick dollar off of just meme stuff. Which I guess there's technically nothing wrong with that. It's just, like you said, there's really no reason in paying it any attention. All right.
Yeah, pretty much.
Next question comes from Poop TV, and this one is, I'm assuming, aimed at you, which is, do you think that your masking is improving?
Sorry, what was that?
Do you think that your masking is improving?
Oh, darn, like, your microphone keeps cutting out that last part. What is that word?
Do you think that your masking is improving?
Yeah, I definitely do think it's improving. Like, it's mostly just a matter of technical limitations holding me back, because in my first year of YouTube pooping, I had no masking software, so I just had to, try to find a way to just put things there and hope that people would ignore the backgrounds that was still there, that was still very square-shaped. And eventually, I did catch on to a bit of, how to use chroma keying, but it was still pretty messy. But at the beginning of 2014, I did, receive a version of Premiere with a sort of more limited masking that only gave you a certain amount of points. But in the more recent years, I've had a version of Premiere that's more advanced that allows an infinite number of points, however many you want, and thankfully I've been able to mask things much better with it.
Yeah.
And with the YouTube poop that I'm planning to re-upload, I actually did decide to remake a certain part of it that just had very shameful masking, because I know now that I can do it so much better.
Yeah. Yeah, I know with I use Sony Vegas, which I think there's a masking option if you have Vegas Pro, but I don't have Pro, so for masking, that involves taking individual screenshots and then loading them into either GIMP or Paint and cutting them out like that. But
yeah, I found that I'm a lot more proficient with Vegas than I am with Premiere. So what I do is I use only Premiere for my masking and whatnot, and then with Vegas I just do everything else.
Yeah, I've talked to a couple people who use Premiere, and they say, from what I've heard from them, they say you can get better visual type stuff done in Premiere, but for sentence mixing type stuff, definitely Vegas is better than Premiere.
I definitely, whenever I can, I try to avoid having to save screenshots of every frame. Like if the character's standing in front of a blue background, it's perfect. I can just get rid of the background, and then cut out anything on the outside with cookie cutter if I need to.
Yeah. I think for me, I've actually honestly probably gotten lazier with my masking, because I kind of just tend to go more for jokes than for visuals now. But I still, I'll still try to at least make it look decent with masking. I do tend to do for that sort of thing. Actually, a lot of times I will just add a bunch of cookie cutter effects and then just animate them and make it like that.
Yeah, in my time of doing this, I found that as long as the jokes you have are funny enough, and as long as your ideas are good enough, then people will often be willing to overlook technical limitations if it's still something genuinely entertaining.
Yeah,
and I think that's probably part of the reason why a lot of my older stuff is still liked by people, despite it being vastly technologically inferior to my newer stuff.
Yeah, I know. I think a really good example of that type of thing where the visuals, like clean visuals, aren't necessarily a requirement. Is have you ever watched Schaeferless Productions before?
I don't believe so.
He's pretty new. I think he just started 2 or 3 years ago with YouTube Poop, but he's I don't think I think he has just like a free editing program that doesn't really allow for much visual effects and that sort of thing. So a lot of times he'll just kind of he doesn't really do a whole lot of masking, but it's just fine because I think his jokes are funny enough so that you can overlook the visuals, like what you were saying before.
Yeah. I think having good enough ideas can really help save a video if it's limited in certain technical aspects.
Yeah, because you could go through the trouble of masking out like an entire scene. Like I think I maybe used this as an example in like a really old Q&A or something like that, where I think I said if you could mask out the characters from an entire SpongeBob episode and then just put it in front of like a picture of like a picture from outside or just some random picture, whatever. That doesn't make it a good YouTube poop just because you have really good masking. I don't know if that's a good example, but I think you maybe get what I'm trying to say there.
Yeah, I think I do.
Okay, next one. What were you going to say?
I was going to say, I think if someone has good masking, that's at least something notable. Even if they're not good at anything else, that's still something notable.
Well, yeah, but
they're doing something right at least.
Yeah, but then you tend to focus more on just the impressive masking than on the actual YouTube poop itself.
True.
All right. Next one is from LionDogZXA, who asks, has 2 questions. First one is, what are your thoughts on the somewhat recent Hotel Mario memes? I think by now they've kind of pretty much totally died out, but that was a thing for a little while.
Just a quick question. Why am I not seeing any of these questions you're asking in my Twitter notification?
These are on YouTube. This is the last.
Oh, on YouTube.
Yeah. This is the last.
I forgot you did that actually. I was just like, is Twitter hiding replies from me or something?
No. This is just the last YouTube question. Then we go into the Twitter ones.
Oh, okay, I see.
All right. I find it funny how the Hotel Mario as a meme was kind of dead for a while, but then suddenly it's back seemingly out of nowhere. And I think it's funny how certain memes will seem to revive themselves after a certain period of time. Like maybe when they're old enough to the point where it's kind of cool to like them again. Mm-hmm. I'm not sure exactly what the logic behind it is, but I think that the sorts of jokes that people have done with it have been kind of clever.
Yeah. I think I might have talked about it before, but my basic thoughts on it are, I think it can be used in a way that's funny. I think any meme can be used in a way that's funny, but I did kind of get a little bit sick of everything just like the punchline just being it's the Hotel Mario intro.
Yeah, I think the best ones were definitely ones that did variations of the joke, but the ones that just did the same thing, they got predictable. Like when you see a regular sort of producer watermark coming up, you can easily predict, oh, it's going to be the Hotel Mario clip.
Yeah. I know I really like Trudermark, really like his videos and everything like that, but I think he can sometimes spam specific memes a little bit too much on Twitter. So I know there was a while where anytime he'd share a video, I just wouldn't even bother watching it because I knew it was going to be Hotel Mario meme.
Yeah, well, I think Trudermark's smart enough to know that there are certain things he does for his own amusement that won't be as widely liked among people on YouTube. So for that sort of stuff that he just makes to amuse himself, he just puts on Twitter. That's honestly what I do as well with Tumblr. Like if I have a quick idea that I find kind of funny, but I know that a lot of other people won't, I'll just put it on my Tumblr and just leave it there in case I want to see it again.
Yeah.
The first Hotel Mario meme at least recent ones I remember seeing, I thought it was funny because it was just unexpected. Because it was the Valve logo and then it went into the first second of the intro. I thought that was funny, but then it's that was the punchline of every single Hotel Mario meme for a good while out of the ones that I saw.
Yeah, when
it
you
just
see
stopped being funny.
Yeah, when you see something like that the first time and it's totally unexpected, it is funny. Like the first time I saw it, I think it's just because it was you associate Hotel Mario with YouTube poop so much now because it's like everybody except the YouTube poop community has forgotten about it. That the first time you see it, just like in a meme on Twitter or whatever, it's completely unexpected. But then, like you said, over time it just kind of gets old.
I mean, they've died down now, but
yeah,
but they were definitely being spammed a little too much at first.
Makes you wonder how long it'll be before one of the Zelda CDI games becomes a mainstream meme.
Who knows?
I mean, it could happen.
I mean, Michael Rosen has kind of gone from just like YouTube poop to just regular meme status pretty recently.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
In fact, I'm pretty sure if you look up Michael Rosen, let me just try that right now. I think YouTube poop isn't even one of the suggested searches when you just type up Michael Rosen. I think you have to actually type in what. Yeah, you have to type in why. Like before then, it would that like the first thing that pops up is memes. So, or at least does for me. And I know
Michael Rosen memes, nice chocolate cake wrap, hot food, noise, chocolate boy. Chocolate boy? What's chocolate boy?
I'm seeing that too. I don't know. Let me see what that is. I won't watch it.
Sounds like it has something to do with the king.
Oh, it looks like there's a YouTube poop called Michael Rosen's Chocolate Boy Obsession. So maybe that's what that is. It has over 1 million views.
Okay, that would explain it. So, it technically, but not quite, is one of the first things that shows up.
But I know
not Michael Rosen YouTube poop, but
I've seen a lot of Michael Rosen dank meme compilations.
Ah.
Yeah, there seems to be quite a few of those. But yeah, and anyway, we can move on now to Twitter comments. Hang on, I think that's the first one. Yeah, so the first one is from Dominic St. Pierre, or Pierre, asks the state of SpongeBob and EENE YTPs. I don't know what EENE is supposed to be.
Ed and Nettie, I think that's what he means.
Okay.
I think they're like, as from what I've seen, they're still going pretty strong. Though I think that like something interesting I've noticed is that the edit game is starting to pick up again quite a bit the past couple years.
Yeah.
And like those seem to be competing with YouTube poop once again.
Uh-huh.
The thing is, it's like the thing about Ed and Eddie is I didn't even know that was at one point a popular YouTube poop source. Was it? Did I just miss
I think
that?
it was.
I know I've seen. I think Awful Fawful made a few, and I know Mobros made a few. So I'm pretty sure it was for a little while at least sort of popular source. But I know I haven't seen a new Ed and Eddie YouTube poop, and I don't even remember if I have.
Yeah, I think it kind of must have just like died. Whereas SpongeBob, I think it did kind of die out for a little bit, but it seems to be making a comeback now.
Yeah. I think like I guess like more people with different styles are coming out and like trying to figure out new ways that they can work with the material. And I haven't seen too many of them myself, but the few I have seen, they're decent. They're pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, I never stopped, but I guess I haven't made one in a while now that I think about it. It's been...
Yeah.
What's the last one?
It's been over a year since I last made one, I think.
I think my last one was like earlier this year, like middle of this year. I think it was maybe June, July. I don't know.
And I know I've only done one SpongeBob YouTube. Well, actually, I guess I did have a micro, like a mini YTP or whatever, SpongeBob YTP. But other than that, I've only done one SpongeBob YouTube poop. I do want to make more, because I know I mentioned in my live stream I did a few days ago or whatever that I think that SpongeBob, the biggest problem with SpongeBob YouTube poops for me is just the fact that it seems like there's like a dozen SpongeBob episodes that people always use in YouTube poops, and then there's like 200 other episodes that nobody ever uses in YTPs. And there's so much untapped
Yeah, I think
potential.
like if I think that like if the SpongeBob as a source was to make a big comeback in YouTube poop, it would be because people start pooping episodes that haven't been used as much, and they start finding the potential in those areas.
Yeah. Yeah, well,
I mean, honestly, even I'm guilty of doing just the more popular episodes. Although I did SpongeBob's House Party, that's my most recent one, and don't think I've seen any YouTube poops of that. Maybe one or two. But I think the thing is, it's like that tends to be one of the episodes I've seen a lot of people say they don't like for some reason. I don't know. I thought it was a decent episode.
Yeah, I didn't think it was that bad either.
Yeah, I think the biggest
Everyone seems to say that's one of
the biggest problem with that episode for me really is just the patchy segments or the low point of the episode.
Cut the patchy stuff out, and it's what you have is actually a pretty good SpongeBob episode.
Yeah, but I know SpongeBob, like the show itself, has actually kind of made a comeback recently. A lot of people are saying that it's starting to be good again. So maybe SpongeBob.
Yeah,
YouTube
it's been getting
poops.
like a very good reception as of late. I'm a bit shocked.
Yeah, I haven't seen any full episodes lately, but I have seen people like post clips to Twitter or whatever, and from what I've seen, it looks like it's kind of regaining its classic style, which is good.
Yeah. I'll have to like try to see more of the recent stuff because from what I've heard, it's really impressive. I've seen some of the stuff like Mimic Madness and I don't remember the name. It was one that took place in the sewers. They were really good. And I was shocked to see that. I was shocked at how much I liked them.
Yeah, I know.
I haven't.
Well, you can go ahead.
I was gonna say I haven't been watching the recent episodes. Like anything, I think I've seen a few season 9 episodes, but I haven't seen anything from season 10. So
Haven't you seen clips from it though?
Maybe I don't know. Maybe I've seen people post clips on Twitter.
So I think that one of the biggest things that I noticed right away is it seems like there's a lot more energy in the animation now than there was like a year ago or 2 years ago, whatever. Like, you know, if you look at the more recent stuff, like before it started to kind of gain popularity back again, it seemed like the animation was very stiff, and which is, you know, kind of common with cartoons. It seems like the longer they go on, the more cut and paste they look. But now it's like actually very, like I said, has a lot more energy to it.
Yeah, I noticed a bit of that myself too.
Even Adventure Time has, from what I've seen, gotten more stiff with its animation. And that when that show started, that was like known for how bouncy the animation was.
Yeah.
But so that this seems to be a thing that just happens.
Yeah.
It's inevitable if you go on for a long time.
Yeah, I think probably the most notorious being Family Guy. Are you still there?
Family Guy it looks like Go Animate now.
Yeah. I don't know.
There are some, as people have pointed out, there are scenes where like people just copy and paste the same expression on all the characters.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I know I've seen a lot of like thumbnails for Family Guy stuff, and almost every single time I see it, for a split second I think it is Go Animate. I've even seen somebody like recreate a screenshot or something like that in Go Animate, and I couldn't tell the difference when I first glanced at it.
I think there was like this clip from a Go Animate video on Twitter, and I did someone share it on Twitter, and I started watching it, and before I started playing the video, I thought it was a Family Guy clip.
Yeah, but anyway, we should move on. I don't know if Logan, your microphone completely cut out for me. I could hear you talking in the other room, but it didn't pick up at all.
That's what it's been like with me. How you've been cutting out constantly this whole recording.
Okay. Yeah, I think the big thing is that we usually use Skype to record, and we're not quite used to. I think Discord kind of handles weird connections differently than Skype does.
Yeah, that's entirely possible.
But we're getting close to. I think we have like 3 or 4 more questions left. Let's move on to the next one. It's from It's a Me RBN, and this one's directly for you, which is, he says, are you ever going to make your Mr. Enter / SpongeBob YTP public again? Which actually I did. Me and Logan were rewatching some of your YouTube poops today, and we were trying to watch that one, but it wouldn't play. And so I don't know. Is that blocked or is it private or?
It must be, because like I wasn't aware it was down. I'll have to check.
Okay, because I know I was looking through on my phone and just kind of playing it on my TV, and I could find the video in your YTP playlist, but I couldn't find it anywhere in just your regular uploads. And every time I try to watch it, it would say that there was like an error or something like that. So I'm assuming it's blocked right now.
Yeah, it's weird. Like, if it is down, then it looks like it is up, but yeah, it's there's nothing saying that it's down or something. It doesn't even look like it has any sort of status like this is only watchable on certain devices or only watchable in certain countries or anything like that.
Huh.
It's weird. Like, maybe try it again later, I guess. That'd be my suggestion.
Okay. All right. This is from Chemic Advance. Asks, any ideas for Christmas specials this year? And I know I've mentioned a couple times recently that I want to do a Christmas-themed YTP this year. I just don't have any ideas for right now. But what are your thoughts on that for Christmas specials?
My answer is I don't know. Maybe I'll make something this year. I mean, I've always made some sort of Christmas-related video. I think I've only made one Christmas YouTube poop, and that was not a good video because that was my first year of making YTP. So
oh yeah, that was your.
That's my. It's SpingeBill's Crappy Christmas, and it's my most viewed video, and I hate that because I did actually. I was like, okay, maybe I'll like put bad in the title just to like kind of see if maybe people not expect too much when they're going in, but I think once I added bad into the title, it started getting more views. So,
no, I don't think I currently have any ideas for Christmas YTP at the moment. If I do make one, it will probably be like a spur of the moment thing or some inspiration I get fairly soon, but I don't have anything right now. And as for like some of my favorite Christmas YTPs, Skellington's Revenge definitely is one of my all-time favorites.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think that might just be my favorite YouTube poop just in general, or definitely one of my favorites.
It's a masterpiece of YTP.
Yeah,
it's definitely in the top 10, probably even top 5.
Totally. There's also like I'm quite fond of stuff of Christmas Who, like SpingeBill's First Weird Christmas and SpongeBob's Christmas Time Antics. I also really like the one that Cartoon Lover did of Rudolph's Shiny New Year. It's actually how I discovered Sammy Classic Sonic fan, funny enough.
Okay. Yeah, I've been meaning to try rewatching some of Cartoon Lover's YTPs, because I know, like, when I first started watching YouTube poops, there were only like 3 YouTube poopers that I would watch. There was The Things One, Trudermark, and Hoffy1138. And since then, I've really expanded the YouTube poopers that I watch. And I think Cartoon Lover is one of the YouTube poopers that I didn't initially like, but I think I need to give him another chance, give his videos another chance now.
Yeah, Cartoon Lover's a cool guy.
Yeah.
He was actually one of the first YouTube poopers I really got into, like when I was starting to watch YouTube poop. Funny enough.
He was actually the first YouTube pooper who I became friends with.
Yeah.
All right.
And one more of my favorite Christmas YTPs is "Grandma Dies by a Reindeer" by Trudermark.
Yeah. Yeah. That's actually kind of the other half of that tweet was from Chemic Advance. What are some of your favorite holiday themed YTPs? I guess we kind of talked about that. I mean, we're talking about Christmas ones. If you have any other like Halloween themed YTPs or anything like that.
Halloween themed YTPs. I'll have to think about that for a bit.
Was Mr. Krabs' Unquenchable Bloodlust, was that a Halloween YTP?
I'm not sure, because that was.
I don't know.
That was before.
Because if that was.
That was before I.
If it is, then I guess it would be one of my favorites. Then.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I guess it's kind of hard to think of too many holiday themed YTPs. I know, kind of on the topic of that, I do have something planned out for Thanksgiving this year. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody make a Thanksgiving themed YTP. Although I guess, to be fair, it's
I mean,
not really even Thanksgiving themed. It's going to be a pumpkin YTP, and I thought that could be kind of Thanksgiving.
What about what was it called again? It was Emp Lemon's YTP of.
Oh yeah, the Hanks. I think it's Hank's Airport Apocalypse or something like that. That's a really good one.
That's like
yeah, I agree.
I think that might be my favorite YTP from Emp Lemon.
That's one of the. I think that's the only Thanksgiving YouTube poop I know of.
Yeah.
But that's a pretty good one too.
Yeah. All right. Next question comes from J.K. Doodles, who asks, "Is there any advice you have for sentence mixing?"
Just keep practicing. That's the only advice I can give. Because I really don't know what advice to give for that. Just practice, I guess.
Well, that's kind of generic advice to give for pretty much anything.
Well, what else can you say? There's really no. I can't think of like any good methods of sentence mixing. I just kind of do it whenever, and I guess I don't sentence mix very often, so I might not be the right person to ask about that. So.
My personal advice would be, this is something I had to learn myself, was when you're making new words with different sounds, don't try to clump together the sounds too close at once, or else the word will go by too fast, and there won't be enough time to let it sink in, or for people to properly hear what it is you're trying to get the characters to say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I guess you don't want it to be too fast. At the same time, you don't want it to be too slow.
Yeah, just like space out the sound effects a little so people can understand what they're saying.
Yeah, I think the best advice I can think of is I think I mentioned this in my live stream as well, is that the best way to approach sentence mixing, I think, is to try to write your sentence mixing. I mean, if you actually write it down, I don't know for sure if you do or not, but if you do that, try to make sure you work around the actual dialogue that's in whatever you're sentence mixing. Certain things that trying to think of a quick example. Like for example, let's say you're doing a CDI YTP and you're going to have Harkinian say that he's going to go watch TV. You could have him say, "I wonder what's on TV," because he has the "I wonder what's for dinner" line, and then it'd be a lot easier to sentence mix than to have to create every single word one at a time.
That the compromise is an important thing to have with that sort of thing.
Yeah, and then the other thing too would be if you have to make a completely brand new word, try your best. Like if it's multiple syllables, like say a 3-syllable long word, rather than looking for each individual syllable, try finding a word that has like 2 of the syllables that you need. Trying to think of, I don't know if that makes any sense the way I explained that. Try to get similar sounding words, like say there's a word that you can just replace the first syllable with a different syllable to get the word you need, as opposed to getting it all one at a time. I don't know if that made it any easier to understand, but I know what I'm talking about. I think, yeah.
Yeah, I think I know what you mean.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I guess just practice, really. Try your best to make your sentence mixing understandable, even if you don't know what's supposed to be being said. Like, I guess a really good thing you can do, something that I try to do, is just kind of walk away from your project after you've done your sentence mixing, just kind of leave it for maybe like a day or something like that, and then come back to it. And if you have trouble understanding it after a day, like when you've kind of forgotten what you've done, then that's a good sign that you need to kind of try doing some touch-up work on it.
Yeah, that's a good rule of thumb to follow.
Yeah. Right. Next one is from Levi Peabody, who asks, favorite animated movie? Mine's the Emoji Movie.
No.
Is it opposite day?
Exactly. You can go ahead and go first.
Oh, me?
Yeah.
I guess I'd have to say The Lion King. The Lion King was a very important movie to me in my childhood, and it still is, though. I don't know, I guess it's tied with Toy Story in that respect, all the Toy Story movies. I'm not sure, like, there's a lot of really good animated movies out there.
Yeah.
But those are the two that tend to come to my mind the most.
Okay.
Usually for me, when the question is asked, Aladdin is the first one that comes to mind, which is kind of funny because growing up, I don't remember really liking that movie, but as I've gotten older, I've liked it more.
Funny thing is, like I was actually just telling my friends, like, I have never seen Aladdin, and they were shocked.
Really?
You haven't seen Aladdin?
No, I've never seen Aladdin in my life.
You need to watch it.
I know. Like, I was actually at my college's library just the other day trying to see if they had a copy, but they didn't, so I just decided to rent Sin City again.
Maybe you should wait until they, because they're doing a live-action version of Aladdin. Maybe if you haven't seen the original, you'll be able to admire the live-action version more than other people will.
Yeah,
I guess, but I don't want to go into something knowing that I'm going to get a subpar product.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, for me, I think Aladdin is probably pretty high up on the list. Yeah, I don't know. It's very, very difficult for me to pick a favorite. I think whenever I'm asked to pick a favorite of anything, like for movies, I just try to think of, like, what movie would I want to watch right now? And, yeah, it's kind of difficult for me to decide. And also, there's different types of animated movies. There's traditional hand-drawn, there's CGI, there's stop-motion. I don't know. I guess Aladdin is really high up on the list. Lion King is definitely high up on the list. I really want to rewatch Beauty and the Beast, because it's been a long time since I've seen that. I do remember really liking it, though.
Me too. It's been years and years and years since I've seen Beauty and the Beast, but I really, really want to see it again.
Yeah, I think
honestly...
Huh? What?
I was just going to say, I honestly don't remember much from Beauty and the Beast, aside from, like, the clips I've seen several times since then, like, everything with Gaston, pretty much.
Yeah.
Like,
I love how Gaston's song has become a meme. It's such a fun meme that has so many variations on it.
Yeah. And also, I think with Beauty and the Beast, I think it's just one of the best looking Disney movies in terms of the animation.
Yeah, I remember like having very, very beautiful animation in it, and I've heard that like it was very ahead of its time as well.
Yeah. And another one that has really, I really like the animation. I think if I just wish the story was a little bit better is Disney's Atlantis, because I really, really like the animation style. I really like the characters. It's just the story itself is kind of generic and not that interesting.
I need to see Atlantis as well.
Okay.
It's definitely worth watching. For the animation alone, I think it's worth watching.
Yeah. Like I said, the animation, I really like the animation. It has a really cool, unique looking style. I really like the characters. It's just the story itself is, like I said, it's nothing spectacular. Okay, we'll move on to the next one from NP Carlson, who asks, "Who would win in a fight between you three?" I'm pretty sure.
Definitely not me.
I'm pretty sure Coolcat would win, because I think me and Logan are in the same building, so we'd kill each other, and he wouldn't have to do anything if we were fighting right now.
Okay.
We can just go with that.
I have a first degree black belt in Kung Fu. What do you two have?
Nothing.
A knife.
Okay then. Anytime you want to swing by to my place and we can finally throw down, feel free.
Okay.
All right. I'll probably die, but okay.
Just meet me outside. Meet me outside your house on the road, and that way I can just run you over.
Sounds good.
Okay. Next question from One-Eyed Savvy. Did you fellas know that you're some of my best friends?
No way.
I guess so. Do you know him, Logan?
Yeah, I've talked to him.
Okay.
I've never for like a voice chat or anything, but we've talked on Discord before. So yeah, I know him.
Yeah, Savvy's one of the YT peers I talk with the most nowadays.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think the two that I talk with the most are him and Goop videos.
Yeah, I think with Savvy, he always messages me on Twitter or Discord at the wrong time. It's always when I'm working on a project and I can't talk. But yeah, we have talked quite a bit on Twitter and Discord.
He tends to mostly message me around night, which thankfully is when I usually start like putting the work I have to do for the day behind me, and I've gotten it wrapped up.
Yeah, I think that the problem with me is just if I'm not like at my job working, I'm usually working on a project at home. So I guess there really is no good time to message me now that I think about it.
Always something.
Yeah. All right. This one's from Brad Cosgrove. I don't know who this is directed at, but he asks, why does Michael Rosen always have a higher pitched voice in your videos? Do you use Michael Rosen?
So I think it's directed to me.
Okay. Are you still there?
Yeah.
Oh. It's just you're kind of cutting out a little bit there at the end, so I wasn't sure if you cut out completely.
Is it completely silent just for me?
That's completely silent just for me too. I'm waiting for a response.
Hmm?
'Cause didn't you say that that question was aimed towards you?
No, I said it was aimed to me because I haven't made any Michael Rosen YTP.
Okay. All right. Yeah. You're really starting to kind of cut out. Yeah. Now, I mean, we have one more question. I think that's just on my end, but yeah, I guess I don't really know what he's talking about. Then I have raised the pitch of Michael Rosen's voice. You know, I've used him in YouTube Poops just as for like reaction stuff, and I have raised the pitch on his voice in one instance that I can think of, but I've also lowered it, I think, so I don't know.
I've used Michael Rosen, I think, maybe once or twice.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess, I don't know, maybe he's just talking specifically about that one video.
Could be.
Which that was my what's that called? My Just Another Day at Foster's video. Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, YTP, which I raised the pitch of his voice because he was supposed to be a kid or something like that, was the reason for that. I don't know if that's what he's talking about specifically, but I don't know what else he'd be talking about, so. Alright, this is the last question then. And this is directed completely at me, but I'll read it anyway. It's from who is this? Ants Forever 123 asks, is there any specific date you can give on the release of the King's Nostalgia Trip? Also, have you ever considered pooping Billy Mays? I know for sure the first question is for me. The King's Nostalgia Trip, there is no specific date for when I'm going to finish it. It's going to be done whenever it's finished. I've mentioned before, it's not going to be finished this year. It's probably going to be mid to late next year. I'll get it done whenever I get it done, I guess. As for Billy Mays, I have considered doing a Billy Mays poop. I just don't know for sure if I will. What about you guys?
I've thought about it, but I'm sure I probably will do something Billy Mays related in the future, but I don't know about a full-on YouTube poop. Maybe, I don't know.
I don't have any plans to do it myself.
Yeah, I think the thing with Billy Mays is that I kind of feel like there's not a whole lot more that can be done with him, because he was kind of like one of the earlier YouTube poop sources, and I think that kind of basically everything that could be done with him has been done. So
yeah, a bit tapped out.
Huh? Are you there? You still there?
Yeah, like you think it's pretty much just a tapped out source by this point.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said I don't think I would do a full YouTube poop is less likely, just because it's like I'm sure if I did that I would unintentionally steal at least a few jokes, just because it's like it's been done, the source has been done, so it's like inevitable that if I did a full YouTube poop I would at least steal one joke by accident.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
All right, that was the last question, I guess. Think there was there was one thing that I wanted to mention. You hosted the SpingeBill send-off collab. I forget when exactly that was, but just wondering because Logan made an entry for it, and I know he was was unsure if you even saw it or not, and I was just curious to know if you did see it, or if you saw it and didn't like it, or if you just didn't like it.
That was actually the same thing that Goop Videos asked me a while ago. The truth is that I did see it and I did like it, but the person that I was hosting it with, Weeslew, she was the one in control of deciding which ones made it and which didn't, and she decided not to include those for whatever reason.
Okay. So now you can now you know who to blame, Logan.
It's
you
fine.
and Goop can team up and start protesting outside her house.
No, it's fine. It's just it's something I've always wondered. I wonder if I saw it because I know it never made. It's actually one of my most viewed videos. I think it has 15,000 views, probably because it's SpongeBob.
Yeah, I did like it. It's just that she happened to say no to it for whatever reason.
Yeah. Well, let me just go unsub to her right now. Just kidding.
I don't think I've ever watched any of her videos before. There's still.
Didn't she recently retire?
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I thought I heard that she retired or something like that.
I don't know.
I'm not sure. I think she had a few different channels because I think one of them got taken down or something, and so I'm not even sure.
That's possible.
I don't know. I haven't seen one of her videos in my subscription feed quite a while now. So.
All right.
All right. And I completely forgot to mention this to you at the beginning, but we always end off the podcast with, for the people who are listening to this who haven't seen any of your videos before, what are the 3 YouTube poops of yours that you would recommend they start out with? And then we'll link those in the description for this.
My personal recommendations would be to, it's a mix between wanting some of my famous ones to get people associated with, as well as wanting some of my less viewed ones to get attention as well. So my personal recommendations for 3 of them would be SpingeBill, Potrock, and Squishward go to Vietnam. SpingeBill and Potrock fight ISIS for Dota cosmetics, and I'll just go with Nostalgia Critic revives the Cuban Missile Crisis.
Okay. I think then that's I guess that's really everything. For the end of this, for those of you listening, you can go in the description and click the links in the description to go to those videos. Also link to coolcat's YouTube. Do you want us to link to your Twitter? I think we've done that in the past.
Yeah, if you want to.
Okay. And then the next episode is going to be in 2 weeks. We're going to have Jallerbo on here. I always forget if I'm getting his name right. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. Yeah. Have you heard of Jallerbo?
Yeah, I believe so.
Okay. So yeah, for everybody listening, if you have any questions for Jallerbo for the next episode, you can leave those in the comments. Just start out your comment by typing out for Jallerbo episode, and then hit enter, and then you can leave your question or whatever. Just keep in mind as well that the question goes out to all 3 of us, so you can make it a very specific question for Jallerbo, or you can make it a bit more open-ended so we can all have something to talk about. But either way, it's fine. But yeah, I guess that's really it. We don't really have a way to end these, so we always just kind of end them off awkwardly. So thanks for being on.
No problem. It was a lot of fun being here.
Yeah. Do you have anything to add, Logan?
No.